Hi, this is a quick tutorial on GitHub Copilot settings and Visual Studio Code and how they may affect you. So this is Copilot on the side. You can hide it if you like, or when you don't need it. This is how you start a new conversation if you need to. We don't need to, this is brand new. GitHub Copilot has 3 different modes. So the first mode is ask, which is where you just ask it questions in natural language. So like, how do I create a SQL file that does X, Y, and Z? The other mode is agent mode, is where GitHub Copilot has a lot more autonomy. So in this mode, it has context of your whole workspace. And generally speaking, you can have it do things where it needs to create multiple files, make edits to multiple files, and run tests and that type of stuff. The last mode is edit mode, and that's usually where what you will use if you want very specific edits to certain files and or if you're doing debugging and other things for 1 or 2 files. So it's more of a file at a time type of a thing. The other thing you should be aware of is that GitHub Copilot has access to many different AI models. So what AI models you have available is really dependent on what AI models have been enabled in your organization. And as you can see here, for our organization, we have Claude Sonnet from Anthropic, Gemini 2.0 Flash from Google, GPT 4.1, GPT 4.0, and O3 Mini from OpenAI. Now, currently, for us, GPT 4.1 is the one that's currently enabled. Which models you want to use is just dependent on your preference and or your organization's preference. However, what I've seen is that certain models seem to be much better at certain things. So for me, I actually like using Claude Sonnet more. That's my personal preference. However, one thing to keep in mind is that all Gemini models have a much larger context window than either Anthropic's Claude or OpenAI's AI models. So Gemini Flash in this case has a 1 million token context window, and then the other ones are like 200,000 at most. So that's something to keep in mind, because if I have a lot of files or if I have very, very long files, then generally speaking, it's probably better to use one of the Gemini models for whatever it is that you're doing. Another thing you should know is that you can start new chats with Copilot. You don't have to keep talking to Copilot in the same chat window for everything. It is also probably better that you start new chats like when the topic changes. So this is how you would start a new chat. And that is it for GitHub Copilot and Visual Studio Code. Thank you.